Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here as we prepare for another week in the ASRA Dirt Track Series here tonight. It's Monday Night Lights as we get ready to kick things off with the 360 limited sprints and our first heat race here tonight at the Dirt Track at Charlotte. Only 4 races remaining here, including tonight's event, 40 laps in length, and of course, this is going to be determining what the starting lineup for the main event is going to be. Is we've got Scott Schroyer on point, Martin Karch alongside of him, Chad Schwartz, Steve Robbins, Grant Wesley, and CJ Phillips going to make up the rest of the field for this first heat. The first of, I believe, 5 heats that we're going to have here this evening. Green flag in the air, 6 laps of racing for these drivers in each heat, and already we're looking 3 wide. Martin Karch gets into the back of Schroyer, who is also into the back of, I believe that was Chad Schwartz, and now it's going to be Schroyer and Karch making some contact with each other as Steve Robbins is going to emerge with the lead. CJ Phillips, however, he wants the top position. He's going to drive it deep into the corner, seeing if he can take the spot. There you see behind them, Chad Schwartz was able to recover after he got into the back of the 33. It's really a 2-horse race at the moment. You see a long ways back, Schroyer and Karch, who will be starting towards the rear of the field for the main event, obviously. As Phillips trying to see if he can get a little bit lower than Steve Robbins. So he's going to get alongside, maybe. Almost a little contact between the two as Phillips drives it deep. Slide job, slides up too high. Robbins gonna cross him over. And still 2.5 laps to go. Ooh, CJ Phillips did not have his car rotate that time. It almost drove straight into turn 3 as Robbins will see 2 to go. And now Phillips drops back into the clutches of the 044 of Chad Schwartz. Steve Robbins may have this locked up. And remember here, it's random draw for which heat you're in, and if you win the first heat, you automatically start on the pole for the main event. As 4 more corners, 1 lap to go. Phillips trying that top side, trying to see if he can make something work. Oh, is he going to try and dive it deep here into 3 and 4? He's going to try it. He's going to block Robbins, who gets into him. They're going to drag race to the line after contact, and Robbins by half a car length is going to win the first heat. How about that? What a battle there to the line as CJ Phillips gave it everything he could and came up just a little bit short. And now will be 5 drivers here in the second heat, but boy, if that heat's anything to go by here for the next heats we got coming up or the main event, this is going to be a good one. Remember the last time that we were broadcasting, we were back at, I believe it was Wheat Sport. And these drivers were having a lot of difficulty with passing. Everybody wanting the top side. Not many people able to get the inside line to work. And we ended up seeing quite a bit of passing in this one. A lot of driving deep and getting crossed over. And so that makes me a little bit optimistic for what we're going to see in the main event. As Scott Dobbs is going to start on point for this second heat alongside of Scott Monksgaard, Brian Hogue, Russell Snellings, and Steven Spies is going to be the 5 drivers in this one. Driver's going to have 2 laps of pacing, as usual. Want to give a shout out to tonight's sponsor, 3D Racing, sponsoring both this event as well as the upcoming event here during Monday Night Lights. Monday Night Lights running the Pro Late Series and the Outlaw Super Lates. We're looking at the Pro Lates right now, in which coming into this race, CJ Phillips, who we saw try and make that move to get the win in the first heat, comes in the points leader. He has about 34 points over Eric Keller and 35 points over Ronald Piles. So very much in control of the point standings as things are right now. A 3-time winner is CJ Phillips also, as the green flag's in the air here for the second heat of the evening. Got Dobbs He is 5th in points coming into tonight's race. Scott Monksgaard in that 44 is 9th. Brian Hogue in the 14 car, he is 7th. So a lot of your top guns in the point standings here in this heat as Monksgaard tries to get to the inside of Scott Dobbs, who moved up to that middle groove pretty much since the drop of the green flag. He's leaving the door open down low, though. Monksgaard drives it in deep. And Russell Snelling's up on the outside line, that white number 11, trying to make it a three-man fight. Look at this. Oh, contact! Oh, Monksgaard got into Dobbs. And Dobbs is out of the running, and now we're almost 4 wide going into turn 1. We were 3 wide, almost 4 wide. That was Stefan Spies that thought about the 4 wide as Monksgaard now goes to the point. You saw it right there. It almost looked like Monksgaard's car never turned. He went straight up into Scott Dobbs, and Dobbs hard into the outside wall. Dobbs is continuing on. I have to wonder what's going to happen if the 44 gets back around here to the 29s. They're 3 wide for second. In the middle was Brian Hogue. He had to back out of it after contacting himself in Snellings. That moves Steven Spies into the second spot for the moment with 2 laps to go. Can any one of these 3 get enough of a run to get up there and challenge Scott Monksgaard for the win in this heat? As Monksgaard's going to come around, he'll hit the line, and Monksgaard is going to win the second heat of the evening over Steven Spies, Russell Snellings, Brian Hogue. And Scott Dobbs, who started on point, will be in the 5th position. And undoubtedly have to move on to the consolation heat, should we have one. Next heat now getting ready to take place. As we mentioned, Ronald Piles, 3rd in points coming into this race, and he is in this one, going to be starting 3rd. Todd Frolick will be starting on the pole for this one. Todd, 23rd in the point standings. An average start of 4th and an average finish of 6th in the starts he has made this year. Brian Ordo will be lining up to his outside in 2nd, followed by Piles. John Bragman will be rolling off from 4th, and Calvin Herring from 5th. Actually, that's all going to change, as apparently Todd Frolick did not even make it onto the grid. So Ronald Piles is going to be the makeshift pole sitter for this heat, and only 4 drivers will be taking the green flag here for the 3rd heat. Brian Ordo is 10th in points coming into this race. Calvin Herring 14th. I mean, a lot of these drivers that we're talking about right now, more than likely not going to be in the hunt for the championship. They're just too far back points-wise. However, they want to finish out the season as best they can. And so for drivers that are up in the top 10, their goal, try and finish the season out up in the top 5. Drivers that are down in the 15th through 20th, try and be consistent enough to get themselves up inside of the top 10. Every driver, regardless of whether or not they are in the hunt for the championship or not, want to finish the season as best as they possibly can in the season standings. Pace truck makes a left-hand turn to pit road. And heat number 3 will be underway with Ronald Piles and Brian Ordo, the makeshift front row for this one. John Bragman and Calvin Herring. I remember John Bragman very much a contender in his heat when we covered the Wheat Sport heats. And Ronald Piles not going to waste any time. Ooh, he may have driven a little too hard into that corner, though. He slid up the track. Here comes Ordo. And we're almost 3 wide there. Ooh, Ordo got loose, though, and Piles might be able to get back around the outside line. He will. Way up there. I think that's about the highest we've seen a driver run here tonight so far at Charlotte. As the battle's going to be for 2nd. Calvin Herring trying to almost flip the grass there through 3 and 4 to get the inside of Brian Ordo. Couldn't do it. Again, way down low is the 08. John Bragman kind of riding back there in the 4th position. He's way up there on entry. Brian Ordo seems to like the middle of the track, and it's now forcing Calvin Herring to go even higher. Still about maybe a car and a half, 2 car lengths, now 3, now 4, and now stretched there off of turn 2 for Ronald Piles. He's getting some great straightaway speed with the line that he is running. More than halfway through this heat now, and looks like the battle's going to be for 2nd place unless Ronald Piles makes a mistake here in the final lap and a half. Brian Ordo trying to hold down that runner-up spot. Look at Calvin Herring That right rear almost touched the outside wall through 3 and 4. As receiving the white flag was Ronald Piles. Ordo firmly in control of second. Looks like Herring's going to be in third, and John Bragman looks like he'll cross in fourth. Ordo drives it deep, though, trying to see if he can get the win here in the heat. Oh, got loose on him on exit, and Ronald Piles is going to win this heat. So he'll be starting third in the main event, and this, I believe, should be our final heat, at least for the qualifying heats before the consolation heat, if we have one. And it will be Michael Massey who will be on point for this one, alongside of Curtis Uphoff. Clifford Driscoll is going to roll off from third. Clifford comes into this race fourth in the point standings, 40 points back. Ryan Arbogast and Eric Keller second in points. Will be rolling off in fifth position in this heat. And of course, for Eric Keller, he is trying to cut down the points lead that CJ Phillips has been putting together. And in terms of that, I mean, you know, as I said, I remember back when we did Wheat Sport a couple of weeks ago, and Eric Keller really struggled there and lost a lot of points to CJ Phillips. Can tonight be the night for the comeback trail? He's only got 4 more races, including tonight, to be able to do something. And you have to see if he can get some good starting track position. I believe CJ Phillips is going to be rolling off from 5th, I think, in the main event. So right now, the only way that Eric Keller can have the advantage on him is if he wins this 4th heat. Then he would roll off from 4th. Finished in 2nd, he would be rolling off from 8th, 3 positions behind CJ Phillips. Michael Massey is 11th in the points coming into this race. An average start of 9th, an average finish of 11th. As we mentioned, Clifford Driscoll is 4th in points. Ryan Arbogast is 16th in the standings, and Curtis Uphoff is just ahead of him, 15th in points coming into tonight's event, as the green flag is in the air for what I believe is going to be our final heat race of the night for this series. Boy, they always want to seem to force the issue 3 wide up at the front here in the early stages. Way down at the bottom, I believe that is Ryan Arbogast. Or Arbogast, I should say. I always forget to put the R in the name. I apologize for that. Curtis Uphoff there. A great run. Almost was able to get the lead from Massey. And further back there is Eric Keller, kind of wadded in behind Clifford Driscoll. He's going to get to the inside of Driscoll going into 1 and 2. They're all really close to each other as well. This is a possible recipe for disaster if someone makes a slip up, as Curtis Uphoff tried to drive it deep on Massey, couldn't do it, tucks back in line in front of Driscoll. Keller's still way down there on the inside line, kind of the mentality of run where they ain't, and while it is the shorter way around the racetrack, it's not exactly the fastest. Oh, Michael Massey got out of shape, again out of shape, he's gonna make contact there. What a save by Massey and Keller as they were both sideways. Massey drives it in way too deep, almost got up into Driscoll, and almost clipped the right rear quarter panel, left rear quarter panel rather, of Curtis Uphoff, who has taken the lead. Driscoll now going to challenge him, as they are going to be seeing the white flag this next time by. I believe they just received it. Oh, Driscoll's trying. Keller is there as well. They're going to be the battle for second coming to the line. Can Keller get back to the throttle? Curtis Uphoff is going to hang on, and I think Driscoll on the top side was able to edge Eric Keller for the second position. And indeed, we are going to have a consolation heat. And the drivers that will be taking part in this one will include Grant Wesley, Brian Hogue, John Bragman, Michael Massey, Scott Schroyer, Scott Dobbs, Todd Froelich, Ryan Arbogast, and Martin Karch. A lot of these drivers really hitting some hard luck in their respective heats. End up seeing Scott Schroyer and Martin Karch get together while running in first and second in the early portions of their heat. Scott Dobbs, he ended up getting sent up into the wall, courtesy of Scott Monksgaard in his heat. And Todd Froelich never even made it to the green flag in his seed. Looks like he may not make it to the green flag in this one either. So Froelich might not be in the race here this evening. But yeah, they're rolling off without him. So 7 drivers will be in this one. As Wesley, very strange to see a dirt track racer like Grant Wesley having to take part in an LCQ in essence. Same for Brian Hogue and Michael Massey. Got Schroyer. We've seen him have a lot of speed before at the dirt tracks. John Bragman, as I mentioned 2 weeks ago, he was a player contender for the win. Martin Karch, of course, ran into some issues there, but he's another driver. I mean, there's a lot of big names down here that I'm just not used to seeing down in the Consolation LCQ, which means this may be one of the more entertaining LCQ consolation heats that we've had all season. We saw already in the heats, the first couple of heats, drivers were really willing to force the issue 3 wide in the early stages. We'll see how aggressive they're going to be here as Grant Wesley and Brian Hogue have been turned loose by the pace car. They'll come around here through 3 and 4, and I think we're definitely going to have to use our spotter stand camera for this restart because this one is going to be wild. As the green flag is in the air, Wesley will take them down into turn 1. Relatively tame for the moment, but wait till they get over into turn 3. As look at Brian Hogue gonna cross over to the inside of Grant Wesley. And I thought he might clear him, but not quite. The 3 wide, 4 wide, almost 5 wide back there from third place on back. With some contact as well between Schroyer and Bragman. Dobbs might have gotten a piece as well. As up at the front, they continue to battle. Wesley on the top, Hogue on the bottom. Hogue might have the advantage. Nope. Not quite. He led the lap, but still half a car length. Wesley was able to battle back, and look at the run he gets there on the top side. Wesley might be clear. We'll look at that over on the left side of our screen. Let's follow this from third place on back, because this is where all the fun is. Ooh, was that Bragman almost into the back of Scott Dobbs again? Somehow they're all keeping it together, though. All still in the running at the top 2 get together. A 15 lap consolation heat as well, so these drivers are going to have to do this for another 11 circuits as Brian Hogue finally did clear for the top spot. He now leads Grant Wesley, and they are 3, maybe 4 back there from 5th place on back with Massey, Karch, Bragman, and Arbogast. Got a battle for 3rd. Up ahead of them, Scott Schroyer trying to hold off Scott Dobbs. And now things starting to get somewhat spread out. The top 4, now 5, now maybe 6 single file. And as soon as I say that, Grant Wesley got out of shape trying to get to the inside of Brian Hogue. Not single file up at the front any longer. Remember, these drivers are out there running in the track conditions left behind by the 4 heats we saw as well. So all of them migrating way up the track to that outside line looking for grip as that mid-high line was what most drivers were running in those 4 heat races. And Scott Schroyer gonna pass Grant Wesley for 2nd. Wesley looking to cross him back over, drives it in deep, gonna get back to the throttle. Whoa, he almost was up into the wall, and Schroyer will go back to the inside. Scott Dobbs now enters into this. It's a 3-way battle for 2nd place, and Brian Hogue, if he's even looking in his rearview mirror, has got to be loving it, because he enjoys about a 4-car length lead over this battle. Schroyer and Wesley continue side by side. Dobbs keeps sticking his nose in there, but he can't quite get the run off of 2 or 4 as they continue to run single file-ish behind him with Massey, Karch, Bragman, and Arbogast. Best battle right now is for that 2nd spot. And Schroyer might be clear. Nope, Wesley's going to come back up on the top side. And now Dobbs is in the mix. These drivers continue to race and make some contact and slow their momentum. That could bring Michael Massey and Martin Karch into the vicinity. Boy, Schroyer's really good on entry. He just can't quite get back to the throttle on exit, and that's where Wesley gets the advantage on these straightaways. Grant way up the track. Look how he points the car straight, coming off of turn 4. That's how you have to approach this track, or any type of dirt track, really. Look look at the visibility here too. I mean, the dust and the dirt kicked up here. You have to wonder how these drivers can see where they're going. As Brian Hogue's about to come around and receive the white flag, the battle will continue to be for second place. Wesley, Schroyer, and Dobbs trying to settle it out for spots inside of the top 5. Schroyer drives it deep. Wesley looking to cross over. Ooh, Schroyer couldn't get up there to block him. Wesley stays on that outside line. And I think he got it. I think he got Schroyer at the line. Michael Massey with an issue there on the closing stages of this race. Same for Scott Dobbs. Dobbs is facing the wrong way. Same for Michael Massey. What happened to them? Not sure. But they wrecked on the final lap. It'll be Hogue, Wesley, Schroyer, the top 3 for this one. And I believe everybody made it into the main event. I'll have to double check on that. These drivers now going to be able to go out there for a 2-minute warm-up session. And so as they do that, we are going to step aside for a quick commercial break. And then we will be back here to bring you your 40-lap main event here tonight for the ASRA Outlaw Super Late Models.
Since the VFW was founded, their mission was really to look out for the veterans community, to make sure that our nation upholds its promise to really care for the service member, the veteran, and his or her family. There are several ways that the VFW fights for veterans today. The top services include disability claims assistance, advocacy on Capitol Hill and with the Department of Veterans Affairs. We also offer scholarship opportunities, and then also volunteerism. For me personally, when I came back from Iraq, my life experience was drastically different from those around me, and the veterans of foreign wars really spoke to me. The reason I would encourage veterans who have served overseas today to join the VFW is because this is your organization. The VFW is for veterans. Every generation, a new generation of leaders steps up in the veterans of foreign wars and fights for the veterans community.
Veterans of Foreign Wars. No one does more for veterans. For more information on the VFW, go to ahctv.com/sacrifice.
Most everyone involved in sim racing always wants that edge or even make the experience a little bit better, or in this case, a little bit more in-depth. Enter iRacing iFlag. iFlag is a simulation signal box with software designed by Peter Vostro. When you are behind the wheel in iRacing, your eyes are looking down the track or maybe even in the rear or side view mirrors. You may not notice or even hear when the caution comes out, when your car is damaged, or if you get black flagged, or even notice the car beside you. Yes, iFlag will point out the signs and tell you where that car is. It just makes iRacing more real and can help you become a better driver. We also offer iRacing iFlag Digital Pit Box. This small box.
And it's main event time here as we get set for the green flag to fly for the main event for race number 7 of the season here for the ASRA Outlaw Super Late Models here at the dirt track of Charlotte. Just outside of the D-shaped mile-and-a-half Charlotte Motor Speedway, part of this track complex. Steve Robbins is going to line up on point, was the winner of the first heat. Scott Munksgaard, the winner of the second heat, lines up second. And then the winners of the other 2 heats, Ronald Piles and Curtis Uphoff, will make up row 2. Your points leader coming into this race, CJ Phillips, rolls off from 5th. Second in the points, Eric Keller will be starting 12th. And as we mentioned, third in points, Ronald Piles starting up there in the 3rd spot. Again, the points gap between those 3. CJ Phillips, the points leader, 3-time winner. Keller and Piles still looking for their first win of the season. Keller is 34 points back. Piles is 35 points back. And with only 4 more races to go, gonna really need to have CJ Phillips run into some issues here in this one so they can gain as many maximum points as possible. "40 laps of racing in this one. Will we see clean and green, or will we see a lot of slipping and sliding? We're moments away as the pace cars turn them loose. The green flag is in the air, and we're racing here tonight at Charlotte. Love this camera here, especially when we're in the main event. Watch them all fan out, double, 3, sometimes even 4 wide, as that's CJ Phillips, the bright red car down on the bottom, trying to take second away from Scott Monksgaard. He's got Ronald Piles to his outside. Piles, contact between himself and Monksgaard as they were both fighting for the same line going into turn 1. I don't know if you can see him. Car in the middle, about mid-pack there. The blue and white car, that is Eric Keller, second in points. He's trying to get up here. Has moved up to 8th and looking for more as the caution is out. Michael Massey has had a problem on the back straightaway. Caution going to fly for the first time here tonight, and I said it was 40 laps. It actually is 30 laps here in the main event, so that is my error. I do apologize. Let's go back and see what happened. I didn't really see a whole heck of a lot of damage on Michael Massey, so I'm assuming maybe just a harmless solo spin. John Bragman to the outside in the 4. And, well, he did get a little help, but that car looked like it might have been going around even without the help. And Massey comes to a stop, bringing out the yellow flag. And it looks like tonight we are running with green flag laps only as well. So any lap that these drivers run under caution will not count towards, the race total. We did have a couple of drivers just hit pit road for fast repairs already. So I don't know what kind of contact went on there during that run that forced them to do that, but Ryan Arbogast and Scott Dobbs both hit pit lane to take their fast repairs this early on in the race. They line up double file as the pace truck hits pit road. Robbins has the inside, Monksgaard has the outside, and then it's Phillips, Piles, and Spies now the top 5. As they have to make their way back around here into turns 3 and 4. Green flag back in the air. We're going to jump back to my favorite camera again. Look at that. Almost looked like a super speedway. Drivers up against the wall, drivers down the inside line. Now they start fanning out as Monksgaard had to slip up. CJ Phillips looking to go up the middle for the lead. Can't get there. They're 5 wide back there in the vicinity of Eric Keller and Clifford Driscoll. They slip it back out. Oh, there's contact back there again. Who was that? Was that, I believe, Grant Wesley and Calvin Herring that got together. They straightened it out, though. Look at that 4 wide, almost 5 wide coming off the corner there. That is, we've got Schroyer, the orange car, trying to make a move. As up front, Steve Robbins and CJ Phillips have opened up about a 2-car length gap back to Steven Spies, who has been the car on the move here tonight. Started back around the 8th position and has worked his way now up to 3rd. And we're watching here the battle that we saw back in the first heat when it came down between Steve Robbins and CJ Phillips. The 2 of them even make contact coming to the checkered flag in that heat. As Phillips drives it deep, Robbins looks to cross him over, but now Phillips has the preferred line on the outside. Robbins going to drive it in deep, try and slide up the block. Oh, and we almost had him blocked, but Phillips going to be able to get back down to the inside. This now brings Steven Spies in the vicinity, and he almost got into the back of the Steve Robbins 073. Great battle up here at the front. Great battling towards the midway portion of the pack as well. Scott Schroyer is in a tooth and nail battle 3 wide. Curtis Uphoff, the blue machine on the top. The The yellow car in the middle, that is Scott Monksgaard. They were 4 wide behind them with Parch, Herring, Wesley, and Hogue. And Phillips has taken the lead. Robbins now under fire for second from Steven Spies. DJ Phillips looking for his 4th win of the season as Spies slides across the nose of Robbins. And look at this battle behind them. Now 4 or 5 cars all battling for 4th place, including Eric Keller, who drove it really deep there into 1 and 2, couldn't make it stick. It's up to the 6th position, and you got to think he is aware of the fact that CJ Phillips is taking the race lead. And he and Ronald Piles came into this race only separated by 1 point, and Piles is running 2 positions ahead of him. I'm starting to get the idea of why we ended up having 2 drivers come down and use their faster pairs already. I mean, we've remained green now for 10 laps. Oh, contact! Keller and Piles on the front straightaway. They keep it together. We're still green. And look at Clifford Driscoll says, all right, you guys lose your momentum. I'll try going up the middle 3 wide to take the spot away. As Phillips is gone. DJ Phillips has checked out. He has 1.2 seconds between himself and Steven Spies. Then it's another 1.2 seconds before we get back to 3rd place, Steve Robbins. The driver that's run into some issues here, but I don't know if it was a spin or if he just lost momentum, is Brian Porto in the 71. He's back here, along with Michael Massey, who's brought out our only caution so far here in the main event. But let's go back up here to that battle for 3rd place. Guy Schwartz just took the spot from Steve Robbins. Robbins crosses him over to take it back. And then you've still got this 5-some back here battling for 4th place on back. Or I'm sorry, that's for 5th place on back. Caution! John Bragman and Calvin Herring with an issue over in turn 1. And again, looks like a very harmless looking spin possibly, as I don't really see much damage on either one of those race cars. See what the situation was here going into turn 1. Bragman at the time is battling with Russell Snellings. Oh! Well, it was more than a light hit. 08 got spun around somehow, and then he just got absolutely annihilated by John Bragman. See if we can find out what happened to Calvin Herring. Was it contact? Oh, what was that he just got into? Was that Scott Dobbs in the 29? I think it was. Oh man, he just lost it going into turn 1. Bragman clobbers him, and Russell Snelling does a great job of getting through. Big hit there for the 08, who I believe came down pit road, and he utilized his faster pair, no surprise. So getting ready to go back green. The pace truck has just made the left-hand turn back down to the infield, as CJ Phillips and Steven Spies will be leading us back to the green. I think Steven's got a car that can compete with CJ. It's very quickly going to move his way up through the field to the runner-up spot, so we'll see what he can do here. Of course, Phillips had the advantage of when he wanted to accelerate. Robbins trying to get the 2nd spot there on the bottom, can't do it. They're wadded up behind him. Piles, Keller, Driscoll, Schroyer, Uphoff, all wadded up back there from about 4th position back to 10th. Oh, Uphoff almost sliding up there into, I think that was Driscoll. And you can see the gap that Phillips is starting to build yet again. I mean, what in the world is it like driving in one of these race cars? Well, take a look for yourself. I mean, what can you see? It's on board with Grant Wesley, who's back here in the traffic. Watch the hands of the driver. The 88 as they wreck right ahead of him. He's going to hit Brian Hogue. There were several drivers involved in that one. Saw at least 4 cars. And right on board there with Grant Wesley, you can see he had absolutely nowhere to go. Hard to tell who the other drivers were involved. I know the 14 was involved. We got a pretty good view of his number 14 right into the windshield of Grant Wesley. See if we can pinpoint the other drivers that were involved in the wreck. As looks like Scott Schroyer, along with Martin Karch. Snellings was involved. Another car that was up on its roof. Not certain who that was. Might have possibly been 129, but I'm not certain. If we can find the initial contact here. There's Hogan, the 14. Oh, up ahead. Up ahead, someone got into somebody. Oh, there's Karch. There's Hogue. You're going to see Snellings up there. And I can't tell who the other car was. There was another car that was up and over. Up around where Snellings was. That might have actually been Monksguard. Monksguard and possibly Martin Karch. Catching some air here. Let's see. Oh, it's actually Uphoff. Uphoff had Monksguard underneath him, and then Snellings underneath him, and the 02 of Ryan Arbogast got a piece of that one too. And remember, Arbogast, I believe, had already used his fast repair back on lap 3. As we are back green, I did miss the drop of the green flag looking at that replay. They take very short pace laps here. We are back underway with CJ Phillips showing the way here with 9 laps to go over Steven Spies. Steve Robbins in 3rd, Eric Keller now 4th, Chad Schwartz in 5th. Someone's dropping. Calvin Harry's dropping. He had an issue there off of turn 4. He's going to teleport the car back to the pit lane on the infield. No caution. Battle is on for 3rd. Eric Keller to the inside. Steve Robbins now running yellow. Brian Ordo with a problem. That's over on the back straightaway, and he's up and over. About the 3rd car that is flipped here tonight. We'll see if we can be a little bit more efficient with going back and seeing what happened to him and be able to be back for the green flag. And it looks like he and Martin Karch are going to get together out of turn 2. Right there is the contact. Oh man, Martin got sent into the outside wall. And Brian Ordo's car comes to rest up on its roof, forcing him to have to teleport his machine back to pit lane. That is some hard licks being taken here in this main event, and it's only going to get worse for these drivers because they're going to be going into the pro lates in just a few moments after this race is done, and those late models have a little bit more power and a little bit more speed. So if they are at this, and I put this in air quotes, slow pace, hitting the wall, flipping up into the air, imagine what's going to happen when they're going to be taking these corners with a couple more miles per hour underneath the hood. Like we are going to do single file restarts here for the remainder of this race. CJ Phillips and Steven Spies, Steve Robbins, Eric Keller, and Chad Schwartz, the top 5. Followed by Ronald Piles, Clifford Driscoll, Steve Dobbs, Russell Snellings, and Grant Wesley, the top 10. Green flag back in the air with 7 laps to go. Spies about 3 car lengths back, 5 car lengths back to the battle for 3rd place. That's back on Eric Keller and Steve Robbins. Keller not quite able to get there this time by. Loses a bit of ground there to Steve Robbins, and now has Chad Schwartz right behind him. We do have a couple of drivers out of the race. Calvin Herring and Curtis Uphoff have taken their cars back behind the wall. Martin Karch still sits on the infield getting repairs done. Brian Ordo returned back to the track, but he is a lap down. As Steve Robbins, Eric Keller continue to battle along with Chad Schwartz. This is a 3-way fight for the 3rd position with 5 laps to go. Make it less than 5 laps to go as CJ Phillips just hit the line. Keller right up there riding the wall. He will get around Schwartz, hold on to 4th, now swings to the inside of Steve Robbins for 3rd. While up ahead, CJ Phillips almost opened up another 2nd lead between himself and Steven Spies, and he's hoping that this thing goes green to the end. doesn't want to have anybody on his back bumper for the remainder of this race. Look at Chad Schwartz. Ooh, he backed out. I thought he was going to take it 3 wide in the corner again. Keller drives it deep. Will Robbins cross him over? Yes, he will. Keller would have the preferred line right now, but Robbins going to drive it in deep. Keller tries to get to the right rear quarter panel as CJ Phillips just took the white flag. 3 wins this season for CJ Phillips. He comes into this race with over a 30-point lead between himself and Eric Keller, and he's about to come around and take the checkered flag. He will win here tonight at the dirt track at Charlotte. And I believe we had a car spinning across the start-finish line in the closing stages of this one. I think it might have been Russell Snelling's, but he will cross in the 9th position as Phillips will win this race. Steven Spies will get 2nd. Eric Keller, while he finishes very well tonight in the 3rd position, he will still lose points to CJ Phillips. And Phillips right now is looking like he could be heading into the final 3 races of the season just in having to finish consistently to wrap this championship up. He's got Lanier, USA, and Volusia to finish out the season, and with the gap that he's been able to accumulate in just the last 3 weeks alone, is absolutely incredible. The consistency is there. Trips to victory lane are there. CJ Phillips, along with Steven Spies and Eric Keller, going to pose their cars on the front straightaways. We're going to take a look here at the finishing results from this one. Great run there for Steve Robbins. Finished with the win in his heat. Started on point. Brings home 4th. Chad Schwartz, great run in 5th. Ronald Piles will, for the moment, hold down 3rd in points as he finishes in the 6th position in the standings, but much like Eric Keller, going to lose points to CJ Phillips tonight. Scott Dobbs will get 7th. Clifford Driscoll in 8th. 9th will be Russell Snellings, and Ryan Arbogast will be finishing out the top 10. We'll look at the rest of the finishing results here. A couple of drivers that looked like they were going to run well tonight, but Charlotte had other ideas. Martin Karch, 18th. Michael Massey, 15th. Brian Hogue, who we saw up and over, in 14th. Scott Monksgaard, I think, lost the most spots here. Rolled off from, it was 5th place. 5th or 6th in the lineup. Curtis Uphoff as well. Uphoff started 4th, finished in the 20th spot. And that was the remainder of your field. But CJ Phillips, a 4-time winner. We're going to talk with him as well as our other top 3 finishers. And let's see if we can get a word here with Eric Keller.
Yeah, I won't say it.
Hey, Eric, it's set up here in the Flatout Racing Network studios. You got me?
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
Wow, a crazy one out there here tonight at Charlotte. We saw in the heat races, it looked like at least here tonight, this dirt track somewhat multi-groove, the ability to be able to try and pull the slide job and pick up positions. And we saw you doing that quite a bit, not only in the heat, but here in the main event. You were able to hook up that inside line pretty well and make some good forward progress.
Yeah, it was a pretty good track tonight. I had a car that I would have liked to see in the front, but with the way position is, it's hard to get there driving clean.
You know, we were talking about your position and points coming into tonight's race, and with only 3 races after tonight, you're needing to gain points on CJ Phillips. Were you aware of where he was on the track the entire time as you were slowly making your way to the front as well?
Yeah, he's a teammate with us, and so we were communicating the whole time.
Well, I mean, a good run for you here tonight in the Outlaw Super Late models, and you guys are moments away from getting into those Pro Late models. I mean, what's your thought process going into that one? Because, you know, obviously there's a little bit more speed to be had in those cars, and you guys looked like you were attacking the corners here in these machines, but we even saw some flips despite the slower speed. So what are you expecting to be taking place in the upcoming race?
Upcoming race in the Supers is going to be a little more throttle dependent, and but we'll see how a lot more horsepower, so we'll be able to, you know, muscle it in there sometimes.
Well, Eric, obviously we hope we talk to you momentarily after that second race, hopefully in victory lane. But for now, we're going to let you do some shout-outs.
Yeah, I want to thank 3D Racing to begin with. Ken Skins for our awesome paint jobs. One Shot Scrap and Recycling helps us out a lot. Swartz Speed Shop and Westside Signs make it all happen.
That's Eric Keller, third place here tonight at Charlotte in the Pro Late Models. Again, congratulations on a great run, and we look forward to talking to you after the Super Late Models.
Appreciate it, and thank y'all for the broadcast.
And let's see if we can now get our second place finisher, Steven Spies. Hey, Steven, it's Seth up here in the Flatout Racing Network studios. Got me?
Yep, I just sure do.
Well, we saw a lot of drivers run different lines here tonight at Charlotte, but a lot of drivers, it seemed like no matter what line they were running, they couldn't really get away from the battles that they were in. On the flip side, we saw you making a lot of passes and eventually working your way up to second. How difficult is it to work your way through traffic here?
The track's pretty wide, really, so there's quite a bit of room to move around. There's a lot of really fast cars in this league, though, so getting past people is always a challenge. It seemed like on one of those early restarts, the bottom was there for me, even though the top was faster overall. I think guys were, like you said, battling with each other, so was able just to kind of slide in there while they were fighting and run away a little bit with it. So, certainly didn't have anything for first place, but pretty happy with second given this group.
Now, you guys are moments away from climbing into those super late models. So, how much difference do you think you're going to have in terms of your driving style carrying these cars into the corners opposed to what you just had with the pro lates?
Super late models definitely require a whole lot more throttle control, so it's about being patient, finding a little bit of moisture and just rolling onto that throttle more than anything. The pro, if there's a little bit of moisture there, you can kind of put your right rear in it and just put the throttle down and go. Supers, you got to be a lot more careful. So I don't run supers a whole lot, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, Steven, a great run for you here with the pro lates, a runner-up finish. Hopefully, we'll be able to talk to you maybe in victory lane after the super late models. But for now, we're going to turn the mic over to you, ladies, some shout-outs.
Yeah, thanks to my team, which is Gambler Motorsports. Again, we don't run a lot of late models, but I kind of moonlight and come over here and run with these guys, so that's always great. And also Epsilon Sprint Wraps. You can look them up on Facebook. Have Preston build your wrap. This was the first race I actually did on this late model with the new wrap he gave me. He told me it was going to make the car faster, and it seems like it worked.
Well, that's Steven Spies. He finishes second place here tonight in the pro late models at Charlotte. Once again, congratulations and best of luck to you in those super late models that I believe you're going to be climbing into in just a few moments here.
Thanks a lot.
And let's go down to victory lane. He's not going to be there in victory lane for long because he's also going to be climbing into his super late model machine. But let's see if we can get a word with CJ Phillips. Hey, CJ, it's Seth up here in the Flatout Racing Network studios. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
Man, I mean, what a run for you here tonight. You nearly about maybe half a car length short from getting that heat win. But boy, as soon as you got to the front here in the main event, you set sail. I mean, is there anything about this particular track where you were able to find something special and exploit it that allowed you to be able to open up nearly a second gap every time you guys restarted?
Yeah, I think this is probably my favorite track. It's real close to my hometown. We put a lot of time in these setups, 3D Racing does, and this is probably one of the best sets we got. So we all feel pretty confident tonight for the pros and then coming up in the supers too.
We talked about you coming into tonight's race with over a 30-point gap between yourself and Keller. You've only got 3 races after this evening remaining in the season before the championship is decided. I mean, this win here tonight, what does that do for you heading into tracks like Lanier, like USA, like Volusia to finish out the season, knowing that you're going to continue with the win here tonight to pad that points lead?
Yeah, Eric came in third too, so I didn't gain a whole lot on him there. He definitely ran real consistent tonight. USA is one of those tracks that's real tight corners and long straightaways, so you never know when you might go in the corner and get taken out. So you definitely want to get all the points you can on these half-mile tracks.
Well, CJ, a great run for you here with the pro late. You guys are just moments away from climbing into the super late models. So what kind of differences are you looking between these two type of cars as to how you're going to have to approach the Charlotte dirt track?
Yeah, the supers, you just got a lot more horsepower, so you can really run the bottom of the track a lot more often than the pros. You got to keep your momentum up the whole time. So you can really back the car up into the wall and kind of diamond off the corners if you're running the top, or like I said, run the bottom sometimes. So you'll see some more 2-3 wide racing. Some guys that probably wasn't doing as good in the pros, you'll see them doing a lot better in the supers.
Well, CJ, the last time that we talked to you, you ended up winning the Pro Late Models race at at Weed Sport rather, and then you followed it up with sweeping it with the Super Lates. So we'll see if you're able to sweep another weekend here tonight. Congrats on the win in the Pro Lates, and we look forward to talking to you later.
Sounds good. Thanks, man.
And obviously, as I said, he swept at Weed Sport in both of those races. So no doubt you'd have to consider that CJ Phillips is going to be a bit of a favorite coming down here into this super late model race. And he goes into that one, I believe, trying to work his way up there in the point standings. Let me double check on that. Nope, he is the points leader there as well. He currently holds a 34-point lead there. So somewhat similar. I think he had 44 points in the Pro Lates, 34 here in the Outlaw Super Late. So, we'll see if he can continue to grow that points lead. Again, holds that over Eric Keller. So those two continue. I believe they are teammates, as Eric alluded to. And so the two of them trying to see if they can maybe go 1-2 on the season. For CJ Phillips, he is looking for a multi-win season there as well. And we'll be seeing if we're going to be talking to him momentarily when we eventually get to the race. But these drivers do have a practice session to be able to kind of get used to the track here once again. So we are going to stay here with intermission. We will be back momentarily to bring you the heats and the main event here for the ASRA Outlaw Super Late Miles as we continue on Monday Night Lights. Don't go anywhere. We will return right after this. welcome you back here to Monday Night Lights for the ASRA. This is the Outlaw Super Late Model Series as these drivers get ready to take to the track for their heat races, their qualifying races. In this one, we've got Chad Schwartz, who finished top 5 in the Pro Lates race just moments ago. Clifford Driscoll will line up in second. Points leader CJ Phillips rolling off from third, with Brian Hogue, Scott Dobbs, and Calvin Herring going to be the 6 drivers in this one. Looks like 19 drivers scheduled to take the green flag in the main event, so all drivers should be making the race. And we will see who's going to have the best starting track position. We saw Steve Robbins in the Pro Lates start from the pole, finish in the 3rd position, I believe it was. So obviously track position very, very important. CJ Phillips, we talked with him not too long ago, as he was the winner of the Pro Lates race. And we'll see if he can go for the weekend sweep here at Charlotte. Schwartz and Driscoll waiting on the flagman here out of turn 4. And the green flag is in the air. 6 laps of racing here in this heat. I believe with 19 cars running that we will have the consolation race. Not 100% on that though. Sometimes they have them, sometimes they don't. That's Phillips and Driscoll battling for 2nd place, about 2 car lengths behind Chad Schwartz. Phillips finished 2nd in his heat race back in the Pro Lates as well. Comes into this one currently 34 points ahead of Eric Keller. Ian Keller 1st and 2nd in both Series Pro and Super Late models. As Phillips finally finds his way to the outside, he will, I believe, take that 2nd spot away from Clifford Driscoll. The question is, though, can he now close up 0.7 of a second between himself and Chad Schwartz? And Schwartz is about to hit 2 laps to go. Last time by, Schwartz was faster by about 3/100ths. Driscoll in 3rd. Scott Dobbs now trying to take that spot away from him. Boy, Scott. That car did not rotate through the corner, went straight. Lost some time, and that's going to lose him some speed. Brian Hogue now trying to take 4th place as Schwartz saw the white flag. And through 3 and 4, no mistakes, and Chad Schwartz, he's going to be the pole sitter for the main event here tonight for the Super Late models at Charlotte, followed by Phillips, Driscoll, Dobbs, Hogue, and Herring in this first heat. Now, he won't have a chance to start on the pole for this main event, but he will start on point for his heat. That is Steve Robbins, who finished, I believe, 4th in the Pro Lates earlier. Eric Keller, who finished in 3rd in the Pro Lates models. He is going to roll off from 2nd in the points. Russell Snellings, Scott Schroyer, Scott Monksgaard, and Ronald Piles going to be the 6 drivers taking part in this one. And I think we can safely say that, yes, with 6 drivers starting in the first heat, 6 drivers starting in this second heat, we will more than likely not have a consolation race for these drivers, but again, we're going to have to wait and see about that, as I think we had 20 drivers in the Pro Lates, and we still had a consolation race, so we may still have the consolation race here. It looks like somebody missed the start. It was Russell Snellings. Snellings will not be taking part, at least in this heat, and subsequently, if he's going to be in the main event, he'll be starting more than likely towards the rear, unless he takes part in the last chance qualifying consolation race. It's going to be a little bit more difficult seeing Steve Robbins out there on the track, because we saw him in a white late model during the Pro Lates race. Now in a black late model for the Super Pros. As they come down, the green flag is going to fly. Well, not yet. I've seen the green flag fly over there going into turn 3, it seems, a couple of times, but Guess they're waiting until turn 4. And now it should be coming out, and there it is. Robbins tries to get the jump. Eric Keller, though, got a nice run there on the outside. He had the preferred line as well. And we got a couple cars in the wall. Scott Schroyer was in the wall there off of 2. And Keller goes to the point. Robbins into second. Monksguard slides to third, but now he's under fire from Scott Schroyer. Ronald Piles right behind as well. Pete Robbins trying to get something going on the inside line, but there's just nothing doing. I think he's got to focus more about running that top line to reel Keller back in, but Keller's gone. Keller is running away. Wow! Scott Schroyer drove it in deep, as did Monksguard. They both nearly combined to take out Steve Robbins in the second position. There's no contest up front. Let's watch the battle for second place. With Robbins, Schroyer, Monksguard, even Pyle still in that conversation. Almost some contact there off the floor between Schroyer and Robbins. Is there 2 to go? And there is contact. Schroyer up and into Robbins. Monksguard's going to slide around the outside of both of them. Now Schroyer drives it in deep again. Ooh, Piles almost got in the left rear of the 44. White flag was just taken by Eric Keller. Who of these 4 is going to make it back to the line? Oh, Piles got the wall. Monksguard nearly spun. Monksguard holds on to second place. Here comes Schroyer driving in deep. Robbins even lower. Coming to the line. It's going to be Monksguard with Schroyer in third, and now he goes up into the wall, along with, I think that was Piles who was riding the wall. But I think it was Schroyer that got the third position behind Monksguard, and the winner of that heat, Eric Keller. And now 6 drivers here in this heat. Martin Karch, Steven Spies, who we talked to, finished second in the Pro Late Model race. Grant Wesley, Michael Massey, Rick Gibson, and Brian Ordo are going to be the 6 taking part in this one. We didn't see Rick Gibson in the Pro Late Model race. And he comes into the Super Late Model standings, currently positioned in the 19th position in points. 12th place starting spot, 13th place average finishing spot are his statistics coming into Charlotte. Just want to remind everybody here, I'm seeing that pink and a white scheme there of Martin Karch. Everybody will probably notice that we're sporting the pink here during the month of October on our tickers on both the NR and iRacing side, supporting Breast Cancer Awareness Month here during the month of October. We've also got a fundraiser that we're doing, partnering with the American Breast Cancer Foundation. If you'd like to help us out with our cause, the link is down in the description below of this broadcast. We'll be running this during the entire month of October, up till October 31st, capping off with the Hallowdega special event on October 31st on Halloween as the green flag is in the air. Martin Karch, oh gracious, already contact at the front. Martin Karch slid right up in front of Steven Spies, who got into the back of him, and almost puts me in mind of what happened to Martin Karch back during the heat race in the Pro Late models. He jacked up someone, I don't remember who it was, and then he got jacked up himself. At that time, he just made his own mistake, getting up into the wall in 1 and 2. Grant Wesley is now taking the race lead. Steven Spies moving into second. Rick Gibson is in third with Michael Massey. Red, white, and black 45 there on the inside line. Gibson had to check up a bit behind Steven Spies. Thought about crossing him over going into 3. Thinks better of it. Wesley had actually opened up a lead, but Steven Spies is reeling him back in, as is Rick Gibson. We could have ourselves a battle here for the win with about 2.5 laps to go. As soon as I say that, the battle is now on for second between Gibson and Spies, and Wesley is starting to open up an advantage. Grant Wesley, we really didn't see a whole lot out of him in the Pro Late Models race. We were on board with him when he got involved in a wreck. He'll have some pretty good starting track position here if he can close out the deal, winning this heat, going off from the 4th position. He takes the white flag. Grant's able to do a little bit better here with super late models as he will lead them back to the checkered flag. Spies is going to hang on to second. Rick Gibson tried as best he could. He'll follow in third. Michael Massey's going to cross in fourth with Brian Ordo and Martin Karch, who led them to the green for this heat. He is going to cross the line in the 6th position. And as I suspected, we are not. Oh, wait a minute, are we? Yes, we are having a consolation race. Never mind, I didn't. Wait, are we? No, we are not having a consolation race. This is the warm-up session for these drivers. Okay, I was really confused because I was going to say, if this is the consolation race, why is Eric Keller in it when he just won his heat? Same for Grant Wesley. I was really confused about that, but that is my error. So these drivers are going to take to the track here for a little under 2 minutes, get reacquainted with Charlotte, and as they do that, we're going to step aside, have a little bit of a commercial break, and then we'll be back here for the green flag for the super late models here at Charlotte in the ASRA.
Since the VFW was founded, their mission was really to look out for the veterans community, to make sure that our nation upholds its promise to really care for the service member, the veteran, and his or her family. There are several ways that the VFW fights for veterans today. The top services include disability claims assistance, advocacy on Capitol Hill and with the Department of Veterans Affairs. We also offer scholarship opportunities, and then also volunteerism. For me personally, when I came back from Iraq, my life experience was drastically different from those around me, and the veterans of foreign wars really spoke to me. The reason I would encourage veterans who have served overseas today to join the VFW is because this is your organization. The VFW is for veterans. Every generation, a new generation of leaders steps up in the veterans of foreign wars and fights for the veterans community.
The Veterans of Foreign Wars. No one does more for veterans. For more information on the VFW, go to ahctv.com/sacrifice.
Most everyone involved in sim racing always wants that edge or even make the experience a little bit better, or in this case, a little bit more in-depth. Enter iRacing iFlag. iFlag is a simulation signal box with software designed by Peter Vostro. When you are behind the wheel in iRacing, your eyes are looking down the track or maybe even in the rear or side view mirrors. You may not notice or even hear when the caution comes out, when your car is damaged, or if you get black flagged, or even notice the car beside you.
Field now gridding on the front straightaway here at the Charlotte Dirt Track here in Concord, North Carolina, as our 3 heat winners will be lining up in the first 3 positions. I said there were 19 drivers, there were actually 18 drivers that were scheduled to roll off on this grid, and so therefore we only had the 3 heat races with 6 drivers in each heat race. That's why we didn't have the consolation heat. So it will be Chad Schwartz, Heat 1 winner, alongside of Eric Keller, Heat 2 winner, Grant Wesley, Heat 3 winner, alongside of the runner-up finisher from the first heat, CJ Phillips, the points leader. Scott Monksgaard will be 5th, Steven Spies in 6th, followed by Driscoll, Schroyer, Gibson, and Scott Dobbs. Only 17 of the 18 drivers will be taking the green. We saw Russell Snellings did not take part in his heat. He is also not on track here on the grid to take the green flag for the main event. One last time, we want to shout out the people at 3D Racing for sponsoring tonight's weekend from the Charlotte Motor Speedway for both the pro late models and the super late models for the ASRA. Monday Night Lights has already gotten off to a crazy start. CJ Phillips winning in the pro lates earlier on tonight. Can he go for the weekend sweep, or will somebody be able to take a win away from him? Chad Schwartz and Eric Keller going to lead them down. We saw Keller really good on the top side in his heat. We'll see if he can jump the gun here on Schwartz as he'll lead them down into turn 1. Schwartz is going to get the run off of 2 as Monksguard gets turned by Schroyer, and we've got a big wreck in the back. Scott Dobbs is collected. There's a car upside down. That's Calvin Herring. Michael Massey is back there as well. At least 5, maybe 6 cars involved. Couple of cars upside down. Scott Dobbs. Not sure if... There he is. I was wondering why he wasn't teleporting to pit road. And it looks like Martin Karch may have gotten a piece of this one too. Boy, this started all with the 44 of Scott Monksguard and the 57 of Scott Schroyer getting together, heading into turn 3. See where the contact is. Oh man, just hooked him up into the wall. 26 of Dobbs upside down. There's Massey. And right there, that gray and blue machine, that's Calvin Herring, the 08. About 5 drivers collected up in that one. As you saw, the 26, or sorry, the 29 rather, of Dobbs was caught on its roof, and so therefore he had to teleport back to pit road. A couple of drivers have already come to pit road, already utilized their fast repair. Scott Schroyer is one, Scott Monksguard is the other. They only have 1 fast repair at their disposal, and they've used it up here on lap number 1 as the green flag is set to come back out here. Again, much like the Pro Lates race, the green flag laps will only count. Caution and pacing laps will not count towards the 30 laps of this main event. As up through the gears, saw a little wheel spin, but Chaz Schwartz able to get himself back underway and out in front. Keller into second. Battle is on for third, and caution's out again. Steve Robbins, along with Michael Massey, over in turns 1 and 2. Looked like in the center of those 2 corners. Well, I think we only had 3 total cautions in the Pro Lates race. But again, as stated, and when I was talking with some of our top 3 finishers from that Pro Late race, you know, they said that there is a difference in the speed that you carry into the corner from the Super Lates as opposed to the Pro Lates. And these drivers having to kind of get used to that here in traffic as well. Looks like Robbins, as soon as he went into the corner, he was in trouble. Martin Karch gets a piece in the 33 as well, as Robbins was up on top of his hood. And back there on the right side, I don't know if you saw it, but that was the 45 of Michael Massey, who I don't think was involved. I think he may have nearly spun getting on the brakes to avoid. With extra power at dirt tracks comes extra wheel spin. I think that might have been a big part of why the 073 got out of shape as early going into the corner as he did. Looks like nobody used their fast repair there. Scott Dobbs has returned back to the track on the lead lap as he used his fast repair after a tow. So we'll see if he can continue to make some forward progress after an early flip on lap 1. Only 2 laps have been completed under green. Well, technically only 1 lap has really been completed under green. The other half laps of those first 2 laps have been under the caution, racing back to the yellow. And looks like we're having another lap of pacing here. No, we are going back green. Couldn't tell if the pace truck had turned left or not. Chaz Schwartz has been really good there with the restarts, and he's going to lead him back to green. Remember as well, too, we have too many early cautions. iRacing will actually call an audible and have it be single file restarts. We had a car way out of shape back there. Was that Brian Ordo? Someone looked really sideways, more sideways than normal. CJ Phillips, he went up the middle. He was almost 4 wide with himself, Eric Keller, Steven Spies, and Grant Wesley. Now he'll go to the inside of Keller. That's first and second in points, battling each other for the second position. Oh, we got a trouble in the back. And he is going to go around. Brian Ordo up into the wall. Calvin Herring is flipping. I saw Ordo was falling through the field very quickly. And apparently he had something wrong going into turn 1. Calvin Herring ran into him, and Herring's had to tow. Battle continues to be for second place as Schwartz enjoys about almost a half-second lead back to CJ Phillips. Eric Keller now in third. He's under fire from Steven Spies. Spies looking for back-to-back podium finishes here tonight at Charlotte. And Keller right up on the back bumper of CJ Phillips, almost shoving him into turn 3. And almost some contact coming off of turn 4. Remember, Keller comes into this race 34 points back from CJ Phillips. The only other drivers in the field here tonight that have found victory lane, according to statistics, are Clifford Driscoll and Scott Dobbs. Dobbs has already had problems here tonight. Driscoll runs in the 5th position as Keller and Phillips continue side by side for 2nd place. Ooh, Keller might have him cleared. If he just have a good 3 and 4, he might have cleared CJ Phillips for the 2nd spot, and he will. What a pass that was. Now trying to close up the gap between himself and Chad Schwartz. Schwartz realizing the situation, he's saying, oh boy, I gotta get down there. I gotta block that line. Right on board with Steven Spies. With a visibility problem. Look at that, even the camera inside of the car is completely covered. Having to use the cleaner, the automatic cleaner we have on there, a little bit of like a windshield wiper to clean the lens. And up ahead of him, they are battling for the lead. Eric Keller and Chad Schwartz for the top spot. Keller is looking for his first win of the season in this series. Right now, he wants it bad. And a car that had a little bit of an issue further back was Michael Massey in the 45. He keeps it together. This is great battling up here at the front. We cannot drop away from this. Side by side between Eric Keller and Chad Schwartz. And Keller, I thought he had him cleared, not quite. Back on the outside comes Schwartz. As we're about halfway through this one, still a long ways to go at Charlotte. The drivers are turning between 15 to 16 second lap times. But watching them here, going sideways, almost kind of looks like they're crawling through the corner as Keller is clear. Keller is clear for the top spot. Now the question is, does he jump to the top or does he stay on the bottom? He will continue to run the bottom and try and see if he can pull away from Schwartz. Phillips is now back in 3rd, Driscoll in 4th, Steven Spies is in the 5th position, and good battle back here as well, just inside of the top 10. You got Brian Hogue, Rick Gibson, Scott Schroyer, Scott Dobbs, all in this mix. Remember, Schroyer and Dobbs were collected up in that lap 1 wreck over in turn 3. And they've been able to make some pretty good forward progress since then. Contact there between Brian Hogue and Rick Gibson. That brings Dobbs into the conversation. Take another on board. This time with the 29. Just barely see over on the left corner. The hands working in the cockpit of this number 29 machine. Remember, Dobbs has already used a faster pair, as have Schroyer and Monksgaard. We do have a driver out of the race. That's going to be the 08 of Calvin Herring. He'll finish 17th here tonight. Back up to the front. Battle is on for the 2nd position as they've caught traffic. That's the 6 of CJ Phillips, the 44 of Chad Schwartz, trying to get around the slower machine of Bryant Porto, who has just put a lap down, and Phillips, holy cow! That car was facing 90 degrees the wrong way. 45 degrees is okay. 90 degrees is practically spinning out. I don't know how he kept that thing from looping. But he drove that thing deep into the corner. He slides up, trying to take the spot away from Schwartz. Schwartz will cross him over. They've now caught the 68 of Ronald Piles. Piles came into this race 3rd in the points. This is not the run the 68 car was looking for here this evening. And the battle for 2nd now is going to enter into his neighborhood. He's got to figure out where to go. There's contact between Phillips and Schwartz. We're going to fan out here to our spotter stand camera again because this battle is too close quarter to be up that close. We got to see everything that's going on. Piles up into the wall again. Clifford Driscoll starting to close in. And to make it a 3-man fight for that 2nd position is Eric Keller. Continues to show the way. He's got almost a full second between himself and CJ Phillips, and he has not come off the bottom as Eric Keller. He was on the bottom to move his way up to the lead, and he has stayed down there since. But that last time by, Phillips was a little bit quicker. It was about 6/100ths faster, and the laps are ticking away. Caution! Martin Karch just ahead of the leaders there. He just teleported back to pit road. He was stopped, I believe that was in the middle of turns 1 and 2, and that is not what Eric Keller wanted to see. Because I think with the amount of laps left and the amount of time that was between himself and Phillips, that Keller was going to win this race. Now it's a question of what kind of a restart can he get, because there's still going to be 4 laps to go. There's the 33 of Martin Karch. Oh, he got way too low. Got the tire down there. And there's the race leaders going by. He almost collected up a 44 of Schwartz. Schwartz very lucky that he held on to 3rd place and that he didn't run into the 33 car that was stopped up on the outside line, the line that he was running. Oh boy. Things just got a little more interesting. Keller is not only trying to close up a 34-point gap between himself and CJ Phillips, but maybe more importantly, he's just trying to find victory lane for the first time this season in the Super Late Model Series. CJ Phillips, on the other hand, he's looking for his 4th win of the season, looking to extend his points lead, and looking to sweep the weekend here tonight at Charlotte. It's all going to come down to this restart, how good a restart Eric Keller gets. And did that caution throw off his rhythm? He likes running the bottom, Phillips likes running the top, and Phillips was running faster lap times by just a little bit than Keller was before that caution came out. Green flag in the air, Keller with a great jump, has almost 3/10 going into turn 1. Keller on the inside, Phillips on the top side. They're battling for 3rd behind them. It'll be 3 laps to go this time. Now it looks like Phillips has moved to the middle line. Oh boy, bit of a slip up there for Keller off of turn 4. That's going to open the door for Phillips to close in. Driscoll's looking for 3rd on Chad Schwartz. Steven Spy's right there as well, but the gap's now closed up to a car length and a half. Phillips is there. Keller needs 2 more good laps, but Phillips is there. He's got a great run on the top side. Oh, Keller made it down a little too low. Almost put the tires. He got a nice exit though. Opened the gap again that time down the back straightaway, about 2.5 car lengths. White flag this time. Phillips may have used up all his stuff. He's going to have to be within a car length here if he's going to be alongside coming out of 4. What can he do in 2? Tries to drive it straight, but now 3 car lengths between Keller and Phillips. And the streak has finally ended, the winless streak for Eric Keller. He's going to win here tonight at Charlotte. Eric Keller finally finds victory lane here in the ASRA Outlaw Super Late Model Series, holding off a hard-charging CJ Phillips. And he will at least a little bit close up the points gap between himself and CJ Phillips for that championship. Not by much, as Phillips is going to finish in 2nd. But as I said, more importantly, an average starting spot of 5th, an average finishing position of 6th, and finally can put a 1 in the win column. As how about that? 3 of our top 4 in the points finished in the podium, with Phillips in 2nd and Clifford Driscoll will finish in 3rd. There is the finishing results, with Schwartz starting on point, finishing in 4th. Seems like tonight for both the Pro and the Super Late Models, whoever started on pole was able to get a top 5. Robbins did it earlier. Steven Spy's back-to-back top 5s here tonight. Rick Gibson brings home 6th. Scott Dobbs, that is a comeback there, along with Scott Schroyer. Both those drivers were collected up in a lap 1 incident. They get 7th and 8th. 9th for Grant Wesley. And Scott Monksgaard was another driver that I believe was involved in that lap 1 incident. He was able to survive for a 10th place finishing position, and there is the rest of the finishing results. Snellings did not even take the green flag. The only driver, I believe, that actually, 2 drivers that retired out of the race prior to the race ending were Martin Karch and Calvin Herring. Now let's go down and get a word with some of our top finishers. How about we get fourth in points? Clifford Driscoll. Hey, Clifford, it's Seth up here in the Flatout Racing Network studios. You got me?
I do. How's it going?
Going great. I mean, crazy race here tonight. Exciting race. A lot of passing that went on as well. And we saw a number of drivers here, especially with the super late models, being able to actually utilize that inside line. You were one of them. We saw you utilizing it to get that third position away from the 044 in the closing stages of this race. Was there any point where that inside line kind of went away, or was it the fact that so much rubber had been put up on the top, you had to run that inside line to make progress? And we might be having some technical difficulties here.
Oh, I got you there, bud.
You got us? Yeah. Was just asking about that inside line there.
Yeah, I actually had the car set up to run around the outside, so I was kind of forced to run down there. It just seemed to hook up a little better. Didn't have enough to lean on up top, so had to make a quick switch down there, and luckily it worked out. 44 went to the top and had a little room to sneak by.
You know, we saw some really aggressive racing on these restarts, drivers taking it not only double wide, but 3 wide, almost 4 wide at some points through the center of the corner. How difficult is it when you're going into a corner at top speed, 45 degrees angle going into these turns, having the rear end kick around, to be able to, in essence, hold your line in the corner when you've got cars to your left and right?
Well, when you're by yourself, it's not terribly hard, but you got to put a lot of faith in the folks you're running around as well. You know, they got to be able to do the same thing you're doing, understand what kind of line you're going to take, anticipate, you know, are they a slider thrower, or are they going to try and run the bottom and just hug it down there and run you that way? So there's a lot that goes into it, but running around the same guys week in and week out makes it a lot easier.
You know, obviously, Clifford, after tonight, we've only got 3 races left in the season, but looking at the points coming into this race, you were only 5 points behind third, 6 points behind second. I mean, is the goal here to finish out the season at least second in the point standings?
Yeah, I think my buddy CJ kind of ran away with this one right now, so we'll try and get up to second. Hopefully 3D can sweep the top 3 if we can get lucky enough to do that.
Well, Clifford, a great run for you here tonight. You've been very consistent this entire season. Hopefully you can close out the year the same way, but congrats on a podium finish, and we're going to let you do some shout-outs now.
Oh, appreciate it, guys. Thanks for putting the broadcast on. As always, like to thank the guys over at 3D, Ken Skins, Custom iRacing Paints, iRacing iFlag, J&P Home Inspections, Westside Signs, One Shot Scrap and Recycling, and Sword Speed Shop. They do a ton for us over there at 3D Racing, so appreciate every one of them.
As Clifford Driscoll brings it home third place here tonight in the super late model race at Charlotte. And let's see now if we can get a word with our winner from the pro late, but runner up here tonight with the super lates. That's CJ Phillips. Hey CJ, it's Seth in the Flat Racing Network studios once again. You got me?
Yep, got you, bud.
Man, you were so close to being able to complete that weekend sweep here tonight at Charlotte, but we were looking at the lap times just prior to that late race yellow coming out, and you were running just a tick quicker, had about 5 laps to be able to work with. When that yellow flag came out, did you think this is my opportunity here? This is going to what's helped me win this race?
Well, I really feel like the bottom line just really came in about midway through the race, and it just wasn't going away. Eric, I think he picked the right gear. He had a little bit shorter gear so he could really get off the bottom. I had to run the middle, and unfortunately it just never slicked off enough on the bottom for me.
You know, we go to so many different dirt tracks, and we see drivers run the bottom and make progress. We see drivers run up on the top side and make progress. I remember back at Wheat Sport, you were able to find a line right up against the wall that nobody else was able to find. I mean, what is it about these different dirt tracks where there's a varying line that actually gives the driver an advantage?
Yeah, it just really depends. A lot of times, and that's what I was saying earlier, with the supers, you'll see the different lines come in a lot more, and they'll change throughout the race. So at the beginning of the race, I felt like I had the fastest car, and the middle line was really fast. But once I went to the bottom, you know, I just can't run down there with the gear that I had, and I'm much better running up top than I am trying to run the bottom.
Well, obviously, CJ, you know, came into this race the points leader. You finished in the second position. You know, you continue that consistency here in the super late models heading into Lanier next week. I mean, congrats on a great run here tonight. Congrats on almost being able to pull off the sweep. You got top 2 finishes in both of the events here tonight, and we're going to now let you do some shout-outs.
All right, thanks, man. Yeah, I'd like to thank God, my wife, my family, everybody at 3D Racing. Everybody puts in a lot of hard work for these setups and to make the whole team fast. Our sponsors, Ken Skins, Sort Speed Shop, West Side Signs, One Shot, Scrap and Recycling, JMP Home Inspections, and a big shout out to Eric for getting the win tonight.
That's CJ Phillips brings home second place here tonight in the super late models race at Charlotte. Once again, congrats on a great run, and good luck on the rest of the home stretch here, the remainder of the season.
Thanks, guys.
And down to victory lane we go. Let's talk with Eric Keller. Hey, Eric, it's Seth up here once again, the Flatout Racing Network Studios. You got me?
I got you, man.
Well, man, you finally got it. You finally got your first win of the season here with the Super Late Model Series. But, man, what was going through your head when that late race yellow came out and you knew you were going to have the 6 on your back bumper for about a 4-lap shootout?
Well, I knew he was going to work that high side, so I was a little nervous for that. And he passed me early in the beginning, which I thought I just had the complete wrong setup in, and finding the bottom was like kind of a mistake. I just tried it, and then I started passing them. So,
you know, we saw here at this track tonight, the transition from the inside to the infield is literally just a line. There are a couple of tires that are there as well over in the corners. That caution that came out there at the closing stages of this race was the 33 getting too low and hitting one of those tires. Was there any point where you kind of had your heart in your throat wondering, did I enter into this corner just a little bit too low?
yeah, that's a team joke. We always tell CJ. That's what I was asking him in the race, why he wasn't down there, but it's mainly because of the tires, because it wipes one of us out every race. So I was fortunate not to catch one.
You know, obviously, Eric, you're in this battle for the championship, going down the home stretch with 3 races remaining. You know, this win here tonight, how important is it for you to finally find victory lane after having a very consistent season?
Well, it is very important that, you know, we keep our points up there, and I built a lot of the setups, and so I was working on something else tonight and ended up finding something the other guys didn't. So I'm more happy with that than actually with a victory.
Well, nonetheless, a great win for you here tonight, Eric. And for one final time, we're going to turn the microphone over to you and let you do some shout-outs.
Ken Skins for all the awesome paint jobs, One Shot Scrap and Recycling to pay for a lot of these promotions and broadcasts that we do. Swartz Speed Shop for the same thing with our merchandise. West Side Signs with a lot of our graphics. And iRacing, iFlag, make it all happen. And 3D Racing, and shout out to you guys as well for putting this broadcast on.
Well, that's Eric Keller. Finally finds victory lane here tonight in the ASRA Outlaw Super Late Model Series. Once again, congratulations on a good win there, Eric. Go enjoy it.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
And that will bring it to a close here this evening from the Charlotte Dirt Track. And as I stated, it's so interesting to be able to see at different dirt tracks how there is a different varying in which line is actually the preferred line. Usually at the dirt tracks, it seems like everyone wants to migrate up as high as possible to that outside wall. We saw CJ Phillips try that here tonight just moments ago to run down Eric Keller. But Keller, he was doggedly determined to be on that inside line. It got him the lead. It held him the lead. It got him his first win of the season. So we're going to have to wait and see further on down the road here if the same can be said. I believe our next broadcast is going to be the season finale at Volusia. I'm not 100% certain, but I believe that's where it is. So, you know, we're going to have to see which line is the preferred line once we get to that season finale. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in this evening to our coverage of the ASRA Monday Night Lights with the Pro Lates and Super Late Model Series races. CJ Phillips, your winner of the Pro Lates, and Eric Keller, your winner in the Super Lates. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you did, please consider subscribing to us here on YouTube, following us on Twitter, and on Twitch as well. If you're not done with watching races, you can actually head on over as the Slipstream broadcast is continuing on with Samuel Dyer and Anthony McCurry having the call there. You can check them out and say hello to them and see what they're bringing you in terms of open wheel racing. But for myself, Seth Cole, thanks for tuning in tonight. Hope that you enjoyed the broadcast here, courtesy of the Flatout Racing Network.